Hi, everyone. Perfect. So now that the stage is set and you know that no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to go until the freaking end here. I would like to tell you that we're going to use different kinds of tools. So it's not just thinking about it or not just journaling, but we're going to use different kinds of tools to create a vision for you so that you can actually create momentum. Why is it important? Because we need a mission to actually know what we're going towards, right? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Why would we actually want to create momentum in the first place? So the important thing is because those tools are kind of different. So we have tools for the nervous system, we have tools for visualization, etc. It's just really important that you are 100% self-responsible and 100% accountable for your actions. If something doesn't feel safe, if you're driving in a car right now or whatever, wherever you are, right, you make sure that you are safe. You don't have to go through all the exercises to take, to take a really positive effect from that. Okay, so just go with it, stick with it. And all right, so let's see. What is it? 2 minutes after 11. I think that's okay. So let's just start in the room and come on into this room by calming a little bit our nervous system. If you're here, chances are high you have a toxic boss right now, and they come with a multitude of issues, challenges that they bring into our lives that honestly, most of the time, we don't even want to have, right? And one big thing that they do is they bring us over time in survival mode. If you're here, you probably watched a few reels of mine or podcasts, right, where I talk about this, but where I talk about the strategies that toxic bosses use that literally bring us on edge. They create like lose-lose scenarios. So no matter what we do, we cannot really win. And since you're here, you're a high performer, exactly experiencing this right now. And the thing is, since usually, very often, high performers have this tendency to try to outwork challenges, which is usually also a good thing. It is a good thing. But in a toxic boss environment, it can be flipped and 100% used against you, because if you're trying to prove your worth or trying to prove that you can really be successful and achieve success in an environment, you'll be sent from left to right, where literally the whole strategy is to not have you succeed. You will get close to burnout, and even before that, your whole system will enter survival mode slowly but steadily. Sometimes it comes faster, and for other people that have a more, let's say, stable nervous system, it comes slowly but steadily. But over time, these things do creep in. So what we're going to do, especially it's Sunday, right? Perhaps people have the Sunday scaries already. What we're going to start with right now is with one tool to fully arrive here in the room, but also to calm our nervous system completely so that we can dive into this goal setting workshop in the right nervous system set and in the right mindset. This is important because when you're in survival mode, you cannot, or it's really, really hard to be creative for a long-term vision. And that is actually biology, right? Because if you're in survival mode, your whole job, or like your system thinks that your whole job is to survive. So what does it do, your system? It focuses on and zooms in on the tiger that is the threat to us, aka your toxic boss. So when we zoom in and hone in and constantly look at and watch the toxic boss, what are they doing? What is their next step? What are they planning? How can I protect myself? It's literally not a place where our brain can be like, oh, let's just be very creative. What would be an ideal scenario for me in the next 3 years, right? So we need to calm our nervous system to create some capacity to actually be able to create a vision that we truly like. And then we can use this workshop to set the goals and create the momentum towards that. Okay. So before I talk anymore, because I could, talk even more about that, I can talk a lot about that. Let's dive in and do our first little exercise. And it's not going to take long. You don't need to have any kind of experience in that before. And we're going to use an exercise from yoga, which is the alternate nostril breathing. Personally, I love that exercise for one specific reason, or two. One, it's cheap, free, and fast. It calms my mind so fast when I have like racing thoughts, when everything seems too much. This is an amazing tool that has effects really, really fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this together now. And the way it works is like we take two fingers. Usually in yoga, they take like the ring finger and the thumb, but you can take any kind of other two fingers that you want. And what I like to do is like imagine a V upside down, like a V upside down. Okay, so we breathe only into one nostril at a time. We breathe in through the right nostril, let's say up, Then we change nostrils, we breathe out through the left one, and then in through that again, and out through the other one. And we're gonna make it easier by closing the other nostril so that we don't, by accident breathe through them. Okay, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna guide you into it. Just sit back, make sure you're safe, right? That you can ideally even close your eyes to reduce any kind of information coming into your system so that we can really freaking calm down this nervous system of ours. All right, so let's start. I'm gonna do it with you because I'm a little bit nervous, I'm gonna be honest. So all right, sit back, sit in a comfortable position, prepare your two fingers, whichever those are. And then let's breathe in through one nostril. Switch and breathe out. Breathe in. Switch and breathe out. Breathe in. Switch and breathe out. Breathe in. Switch and breathe out. You can perhaps already feel, continue on your own pace, you can perhaps already feel your nervous system calming down a little bit. I can sometimes literally feel my brain relax. See if you can feel that too. One last time. All right. Really, really good. Yeah, if you have a cold, that's fine. You can do that later on. Now you know it, now you have the tool. I would be lying if I told you that I did not use that in the bathroom stall from time to time, just to get back to the real me, not the hyper alert kind of, I need to look left and right all the time me, okay? So this is something really easy and really fast that you can do in a bathroom stall. Nobody will notice it, nobody will know about it, and you're gonna come back, zen, okay? Perfect. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So let's create some cognitive awareness why we actually do this. I am a certified spiritual life coach, but for a good reason. I could talk a long time about that. I will probably make a new podcast episode just because there might be confusion. But what truly, truly matters here is that we need to understand what we're doing and why we're doing certain things cognitively before we then can actually try to think a little bit less. As high performers, we tend sometimes to overanalyze. Like when I'm in calls with potential new clients or with actual new clients, when we talk about their situation, no high performer ever that I've talked to was not thinking enough about the situation and was not analyzing enough their situation, okay? So what we actually want to do, and what I always love to do, I want to take the brain with us, our amazing intellect with us, so that we understand fully why we do something, so that I get the buy-in from the brain to actually also use the rest of our body and the rest of our humanness with us in this journey. Because in the end, when our survival mode is on and our nervous system is all over the place, our whole system is all over the place. Even though our brain can, negotiate and tell us all those different things, the reality is that we need to be centered so that we can think a little bit less, so that we create some clarity to actually think about and plan and do the things that bring us towards what we do want. And it's exactly the thing, right? So because your toxic boss brings you into survival mode, it is really easy to feel stuck and disempowered and have low self-confidence, because their whole game is exactly that, right? That way you are really the play ball, okay? However, that is no way to live, honestly. I don't want to see any more high performers close to burnout because of a toxic boss. If you ask me, there's tools and stuff that we can do, and this is a great start. And I want you to use your high performer energy and your genius for yourself, because when we're too long stuck under a toxic boss, what happens is that we sometimes turn against us. And this is literally the worst case, where we're like, I know I should have left, but now I don't feel confident. I don't even know my skills anymore. So I'm afraid to leave. So perhaps if I leave, something worse comes around. This is literal survival mode response, okay, that you're feeling right now. So let's use tools such as the alternate nostril breathing to change that. And why did I choose to do the workshop right now? Because if you are following any kind of, Chinese traditions, we just entered the year of the firehorse, and I just love their analogies. I'm not that deep into that stuff, so I cannot explain you a whole lot about it, but I know that we come from the year of the snake, and we are now just starting the year of the firehorse. And firehorse is like once in 60 years. And in the Chinese tradition, it's basically so that the firehorse is like crazy momentum. And what that means is that we can basically manifest real fast. So now you don't have to believe in manifestation, but you need to understand that whatever energy you're in, it's way easier for us to manifest more of that versus less. Why is that so? Exactly what I explained before with survival mode. This is how our brain and our system works. When I'm in survival mode, I cannot zoom out. So it's easier from being stuck to feeling even more stuck. And because we're even more stuck, we feel even more disempowered. And because we're even more disempowered, we feel less confident about ourselves. So we go on to this downward spiral. And let's just imagine the Chinese were right. Do we really want to accelerate that and have more of that? I certainly don't. Just like you, I'm a high performer. I want to create an amazing life, and I want to use this freaking for myself. And if there's somebody out there that tells me this next year is amazing to manifest your best life, I'm in. Okay, so let's make sure that we use this for positive momentum, because momentum can also go both ways. I want to create positive momentum so that we freaking get out of there, that you get yourself, or I get you out of this situation. That's the momentum that we want to create. Okay, so great that you're here. Stick around or come back later to the recording. So this is what we're going to do now. And we're going to start off with a little bit of a meditation. Again, if you're here because you bought this and you received the link by doing so, let's start with the notes behind, because in the front, it's just a very short little exercise that is similar to what we do, but it's not exactly the same. So I would recommend you to not fully go into this right now, but just stick with me and have your own little journal around to write down things that might come up. Because what we're going to do now is we're going together into meditation, okay? Because now you understand why we're doing this. We have already calmed our system a little bit to arrive fully in the room. And now it's time to visualize, because how else do we want to create a goal that is actually worth our energy and our effort? Because any kind of achievement that we want, it requires energy, and energy is effort. Energy is doing as well, right? But we need to know where we're gonna go towards. All right, enough said. Let's start taking deep breaths. Again, if you're safe right now in a safe space, not driving a car, not operating like heavy machinery or anything, you can do that now together with me, or come back later and do it then. And I want you to start really sit back and slow down a little bit. I know I'm talking fast. I hope it was okay. And let's just start taking those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose again. And out through the mouth. If you have not done so yet, close your eyes gently if you can and you're safe. And one last time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's create one wave of relaxation and feel like a beautiful, gluey kind of energy going from the top of your head, entering your system. I love this warm orange kind of energy, slowly going over your skull, over your head, and feel that whatever this energy touches, it relaxes instantly. And you can slowly feel how this energy goes over your forehead, your eyebrows. And it's so interesting that when you feel it, you can literally recognize that muscles start to relax that you didn't even know were there. So just enjoy this process and feel your eyes relax, your cheekbones, your mouth area, all of your face. And now let's go down the neck and throat. Feel it all relax. Go into your shoulders. Feel how your shoulders relax. Your arms. Feel how this wave of relaxation goes all the way down to your body, touching all the organs, all the tissues and cells and bones, and just relaxing every single cell that it touches. Feel it traveling all the way down to the bottom that you sit on, into your thighs, entering your legs, then to the knees, your calves, and all the way down into your feet. And just keep your eyes closed and breathe for 1 second and feel how nice it feels to be in a body that is fully relaxed. And now I want you to imagine and create it in front of your inner eye. This is you being creative. Imagine in front of your inner eye that you're standing in front of 2 different doors. Both doors are beautiful. And on the one door, there's a big number 1. And on the second door, there's a big number 3. And you just know that this means you're going to take a look, a sneak peek into your best future. And it's up to you to decide if you want to see yourself 1 year from now or 3 years from now, living your very best life. And when you're ready, just follow your intuition and stand in front of the door that you chose today. And when you try to open the door, the handle already automatically opens this door for you, because this is your unique door into your very best future. And now that you walk in, I want you to really take a look around. Where are you? Are you right now in your workplace or at home? Just create it. Perhaps you're working from home. Take a look around the hallway. Walk through it. Kitchen perhaps. Bedrooms. Walk through it and look how you look. How do you live? See what you're experiencing in your best future reality. Are there other people living with you or visiting you? You can see them slightly in the background. But see how it looks. Are you living in the same space or working in the same space? Or are you somewhere else? Take a good look around. Also see, is it tidy? Is it clean? Perhaps take a look at the refrigerator. What kind of stuff do you eat in your ideal reality? And now that you've gotten a really nice picture of your living environment, you can also take a sneak peek into your closet. What kind of clothes do you wear in this ideal future scenario? And now slowly but steadily, I want you to go towards the bathroom, the master bathroom, and look yourself in the mirror, or see yourself in the mirror and recognize, how do you look? How's your face? Do you look happy? How do you see that? How do you look? What kind of energy do you have looking into the mirror? First, you can literally wave at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what changed externally? Looking at myself, what changed? What's the difference between when I looked at myself this morning in the bathroom mirror and what I see here? What is different? And then ask yourself, what changed internally? And first, let's take a guess. What do you think changed so that this person looks so confident, so happy and radiant? What changed? And how does this person in the mirror feel about themselves? And now I want you to ask that reflection in the mirror, what changed? What did she do differently? Just see whatever pops up. Some people are very visual and they can literally see everything. Some people just get these great ideas or those thoughts coming in. Everything is exactly right. You don't need to worry. What comes to you is what's meant for you. And now ask this future version, what was this 90-day challenge a catalyst for? Why was it important for you to stick with it and go through with it all the way? What did you learn about yourself? And how did it help you? And see what comes. All right, and now I want you, before we slowly come back, give yourself a high five in the mirror, in your imaginary mirror. and say thank you. Thank you for the inspiration. And I want you to slowly walk back towards the door. And now this door is going to bring you back exactly in your current reality where you're sitting right now. I'm going to count down from 3, and at 1 you're going to come back. 3. Just remember, what was the most important thing that you've seen and learned here? 2. What kind of feeling did you feel seeing your future self and walking through their life? And 1, step through the door and come back into this reality. Open your eyes, come back, stretch a little, breathe deeper, more deeply. Welcome back. So, I would love to hear if you've seen or heard something, and you feel free to literally DM me. I'm really curious about that. And to make sure we don't forget about it, because that's what often happens. Take out the journal in the notes section in the very end, or your journal that you have at your hand right now, and write down the most important things. And I'm gonna, for a second, most important things that came up in this short little meditation. Okay, take note. Perhaps an idea popped in. Whatever it was for you. All right. Perfect. Really good. Now, I know you know that I'm a certified spiritual life coach, but I want to just tell you this is not as woo as it sounds. Why? Because by visualizing future scenarios, we actually start already the rewiring of our brain, right? And this is how we literally shift realities, because let's say the version of you that is highly successful, this version of you that's an entrepreneur, or even the version of you that is very little successful has very different brain wiring than you do. So by visualizing what we do want and stick in the energy and stay around a little bit and notice the differences, we start rewiring our brain. So this is literally, basically, this is science, okay? Let's just stick with it. Write down what came up and write down why did this future self tell you that the goal setting and the 90-day challenge are relevant for you to achieve this reality, okay? Perfect. And now we can totally go in here if you have it at hand and write down you have a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, and a big, hairy, audacious long-term goal. Perhaps you went through the 3-year door, perhaps you went through the 1-year door. Just write down here so that you have an anchor, so that whenever you do the tasks of the challenge, you can go back and be like, oh yeah, right, that's what I wanted. Because sometimes we're so stuck in our current reality that we kind of forget. Okay, so this is our anchor. So write down real fast what your goal was, and you can make it nice and more detail later, okay? And let's say you have a 1-year goal. Now you started a process of thinking a little bit bigger than just escaping, just surviving, okay? So now you started this kind of process. Perhaps you're gonna go for a walk later and a crazy new idea pops into your head and you're like, this is pretty audacious. Oh, then let's write that down as the big, hairy, audacious goal, okay? This is what I wanna do with you. So don't force it now, just write down whatever came to you and fill in the blanks later when it comes to you. I promise you, once you start these kinds of processes, you'll have new ideas, new creative sparks and glimmers coming into your life. And writing down means you take them seriously, which then also means more of them are invited in. That's usually how it works. What we do and take serious, our brain is like, oh, that mattered. So let's give her more of that, right? So we want to do that and write it down so that we prove to ourselves and also to our subconscious mind that this actually matters to us and this is important. And we actually don't want it to survive. We actually do want to thrive, right? Okay, perfect. Write it down real fast. I'm going to take a sip of water. Perfect. And now let's just stick with that first little page, because how does it actually work? It doesn't matter if you look towards neuroscience, like M on the brain, or if you want to look towards honestly, any kind of coach, probably, if they're doing a good job, they're going to tell you exactly the same thing. You change your life by changing your identity. Just think back. Perhaps you come from a super, I don't know, 200 people little town where everybody knows each other and everything is always the same. Like when you go there, let's say for vacation, you went there for vacation once and you come back every year for vacation, it feels like the time is standing still. It basically is in terms of nobody is evolving. Perhaps they're living their best life, and that is totally fine. It's not about judging that, but it's about if you want to evolve, like hopefully you want to evolve in your career right now if you're under a toxic boss, then what creates this change on the outside is actually an identity shift on the inside. And if you're like, oh, that is too crazy, let's think about it. If you're right now not feeling confident about your skills, if you're right now not thinking that you're gonna get a job because the job market is so horrible, if you're right now super burned out and you don't even want to meet friends, how many opportunities do you think will come your way? Versus another person that is like, this is absolute BS what's going on here, but I'm not going to give up on my private life. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go do networking. I'm going to continue applying to the roles that I really want and use my network to activate potential, possibilities. I'm going to stay fit. And then by staying fit, I actually have a way to get rid of the adrenaline and cortisol that is going to build up, right? And now just imagine those two people, they are really different. So it's not that far of a stretch to say any kind of change in our lives is a small or big identity shift. Because ultimately, the person that does get the job offer is not the person that is unable to apply because they're so burned out. There is a big difference in those kinds of people. It's basically a whole new person. So this is all about identity shifting. So instead of saying, oh, in my visualization, I saw this amazing car, so I'm just going to buy it even though I cannot afford it. Why don't we ask ourselves, what would need to hold true for me to easily get that? For me to be able to afford it without, running into bankruptcy if I crash the car or something, right? So this is the difference that you want to look at. And how does it manifest? Perhaps on the outside, this is why we took a look, right, at our future self in different ways. On the outside, it manifests. If I feel confident, I'm going to probably dress a little bit more, I don't know, creatively or confidently because I'm not afraid. And if I'm not afraid, I might also try out new things and go to networking. And in order to go there, I don't know, dress in a business style, or I'm going to communicate differently, or going to take a communications class, or like working on my introvert self to get a little bit excited about going to networking. Whatever it is for you, right? Write down here for the new identity part what shifted on the inside, how they felt about themselves, how they thought about themselves. Did they think they're stupid for staying there? Or did they think, I stayed there too long and it will never ever happen again because I put in place X, Y, Z, and this is going to save me next time around. And next time around, I'm not going to ignore the red flags, right? So this is the internal shift. And then the external shift, how does it manifest on the outside? We always need both because we can always tackle these things from all kinds of sides at the same time because that's what's most efficient. And I'm German and I like efficiency. Okay, so let's just write down now the differences in the identity and really become aware that you doing this and you getting yourself out of there, it is a huge identity shift. Because if you're not just trying to survive in the situation, but you are a survivor of a toxic place, you are a whole new person because you came out sane and healthily. You wired your brain for, I can tackle anything and I am freaking worth it and I'm not gonna accept less. And that's kind of the identity we want to step in. And you're gonna radiate that. And if the job market is bad, you're gonna find a solution because this identity of yours always has a solution at hand, a new plan at hand, and has the energy to actually execute on it. All right? Okay. I'm too excited about these things sometimes. All right, so let's write down what kind of identity shift you need to undergo to actually get there. All right, one last sip. Perfect. And now you can do that later. What I love to do is little manifests, like a manifesto. I think I missed an O here. Okay, my manifesto. So basically writing a declaration to yourself. It just helps. Again, writing is just a great exercise in general. And then writing a manifesto like, I am going to do this and that I'm becoming this and that person, is really creating more impact, more urgency for you, an agency to actually do it now. Of course, you can do that later, but do you want to suffer longer? Like, why would you want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you would need to have a really good reason to convince me that it makes sense to stay under a toxic boss any longer than it's absolutely needed. Like, if you have a reason, drop it here. I would like to hear it, but I don't think there's any. So what we're going to do with that now, like now everything is a little bit up in the air. Like, okay, I have this idea of who I want to become. I have the idea of what I want to change. And now this is where literally our 90-day challenge starts. So from now on, it's going to be pretty easy. We have the same kind of setup every single day. Just one day is one page. And it's really fast because I know you don't have time. I don't have time either, believe me. So we're going to do a small thing in the morning and a small thing in the evening to really anchor it in, because the identity shift is not something we can do once for 5 seconds and think it will have lasting impact, right? So ideally, do some habit stacking. Let's say in the morning, you always drink coffee at a table and you're, scrolling Instagram. Okay, what if now your new anchor is still drinking coffee, but before going to Instagram, or if at all going to Instagram, you're going to do the morning exercises. It's just a good start into the day. And basically, it really doesn't take a lot of time. It's just like, okay, gratitude. Gratitude is important because we get into the feeling of already having received something and becoming aware of all that we already have, even though our brain in survival mode sometimes thinks there's only the toxic boss and nothing else. So we start with 3 things that you're grateful for. First thing. And if you can, try to really feel it. Like, take a beat, take a sip of coffee, close your eyes and be like, oh yeah, my children are amazing. Like, I know this toxic boss situation is horrible, but I love my children, or like my partner, or my family, my parents, or like my pet. I have so many people with amazing dogs. Be grateful for that. That's such a great support system that you're having, okay? And you can be really grateful for small things. And I know that always sounds weird, but the moment you do it intentionally, you can be grateful for a good cup of coffee in the morning. It's a muscle that we're training, and 90 days are enough to train that muscle. So just do it, stick with it, and try to feel it until you have this moment where you actually do feel the gratitude and you're like, oh, now I'm getting it, okay? But we need to trust and practice a little bit before we're getting there, okay? Then today's affirmations to support my growth journey. So now we're already focusing on that vision, right? Let's say this next 90-day goal, or like the 1-year goal. And that's the perspective from which we want to take it here. So we write down today's affirmations that support my growth. What do you need for today? What do you need to tell yourself today to be stronger? Perhaps it is I am strong. Perhaps I'm confident. Perhaps it's I know my skills, right? Just positive affirmative statements, the ones that resonate with you in that moment, that you think would be beneficial for you in that moment to go through the day and to stay strong, okay? And then the last one is actions I will take today to step into my new identity. Perhaps it is I'm going to dress like this future person. Perhaps it's I'm going to regulate my nervous system at work with the exercise that we just learned, right? Whatever it is. Write 1 or 2 actions down there. It can be really small, fast ones. But by doing that, you now start more often during the day also already stepping into that new identity. And this is exactly how it works. This is how we build up those brain wires. So we wire you more and more over those 90 days to become that future version, okay? And then you're done. You have a little quote that could be either, you can reflect around it, or it can be inspirational, whatever day it is. And then in the evening, we do the same thing before you go to bed, right? I don't know, perhaps you like having a cup of tea, or perhaps you're a kind of person that likes to watch Netflix. Okay, then before you watch Netflix, or while you drink your cup of tea, you do the exercise, okay? Or after brushing my teeth in the evening, I always do it. Like, you need to have like this one habit, and then after that you do it so that you don't forget about it, and we can really create this habit, okay? And then in the evening, we're going to reflect back. And this is how we're going to make small incremental improvements every single day. And that's what's creating momentum, especially when we're stuck. We need small incremental improvements every single day. And that's what's going to make, at some point, there's no way for that then to become an exponential curve. But we need to hold strong until we reach that exponential point where the growth is just undeniable. Even though in the beginning, nobody can barely see it, We know how it works. We're high performers. Growth is always exponential if you stay consistent. So stay consistent. You're going to hit that spot and everything will change all of a sudden. Okay. So what are you going to do in the evening? You think about, okay, what did I learn today that served me on my journey? And can be good or bad things. We can take learning experience out of anything we encounter. Perhaps it is saying hi to everybody in the office, even the people I don't like, makes me feel good and I start with a better energy. Perhaps it is, I don't know, I spoke up for myself, and even though my boss really didn't like it, it felt so good and I want to do more of that. Or perhaps it was talking through worst case scenarios, coming up with a new plan, and it actually gave me and my nervous system some leverage so that I don't always stress around ending on the streets, because honestly, that's not going to happen. You have a lot of safety nets potentially that I'm not aware of, and perhaps one comes to mind and you want to write it down here, and it's going to help you because now you're not fully in survival mode, but just a little bit less, right? This is positive improvement. This is what's creating momentum. All right. Then one of the successes, or two or three, however you want to put, of the day, to remind ourselves that even in bad days, we do have successes. And even if the success is just, I did this. Okay. And then one last thing, what I'm going to do differently tomorrow. If there's one thing where you're like, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had stopped working at 6:30 and not stayed there until 9. Then you write that down here. And also that's how we're learning, right? So it's okay. It's not about judging here. It's really about creating momentum into a direction that we truly want and like. And then lastly, how proud am I of myself today? And that's for you to decide, right? But this is literally what it is. This is how we create momentum. I know it's kind of like, isn't it too easy, Fela? No, it's actually really easy, but the consistency is the hard part. Doing it one day is easy. Doing it 3 days is still kind of easy, and then it starts to get hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit to, let's say, at least 3 times a week. I'm going to post in the stories about that because I want to do it too. Freaking, I don't just do it for you. Let's be honest. I do it for myself as well. I want to use this firehorse energy to create freaking legacy. And I want to help as many high performers as possible. I want to help as many high performers as possible to get unstuck. You do not deserve to stay any second longer in this toxic workplace. You deserve something good. You're worthy. You are enough. But it's a journey to get there. And sometimes I would like to push you there, let's be honest, but I won't. I will just give you the tools and I'm going to help you and be on your side. I'm not allowed to push, unfortunately. As coaches, we aren't, because true transformation is when we really evolve, right? And we become that new person. This is when we create lasting change. You know, sometimes in the US, coaching can be seen different ways because you also call sports trainers coaches. In other languages, it's not the same word. So I'm not going to be the one with the whistle on the side. And the reason for it is I'm going to remind you from time to time, like accountability, yes. But if you need a coach that shouts at you, like those military coaches, like 100 sit-ups now, if you need that to even do sports, then it's really hard to make that a lasting habit because you depend on somebody else to be in a good shape. I want to enable high performers, to give them skills, to give them tools that they can use for the rest of their freaking career. And this is what coaching is meant, at least in Germany where I did my certificate. This is what it means there. And I really resonate with it because I want you to be successful in the freaking long run. I want you to now use this time in your career to learn the tools that will help you no matter in what situation you're in. Because if you know now how to regulate your nervous system, because there was no way for you not to learn it, because you would have crumbled. So the whole environment, your workplace, forced you to become really good at managing your nervous system. This will be the gateway for you, if you want, to become an amazing leader in a healthy and normal, challenging workplace. Because also in healthy workplaces, there will be challenges. And the more clear-headed and the more grounded, without survival mode, you can navigate through that, the better the result is going to be. Okay, so this is my goal. You're here right now. It's literally a catalyst. You're here right now because you want to learn the things in order to excel for the rest of your freaking life. Something in your soul's journey forced you to be here to learn certain things so you don't go into the same patterns again. So I'm like, again, sorry for saying it. I'm German. I hate it when we repeat mistakes. I'm like, why would we do that? Like, let's not do that, please. Okay. So let's start with this 90-day challenge. It's basically free. You can do it for free if you want. Just listen to this thing and do it on your own, or you get the little journal for like what $13. It's nothing at all. I mean, we buy so much crap. If you want to support me, of course, I would appreciate it. Yes, I would, but it's not necessary. And what I would even appreciate more is you writing me DMs and telling me I did it, I started it, and that's what shifted. I would love to hear that and support you in that way. Now, I think that's it. If you want the link to the journal, it is in the bio, so don't be afraid to go there. Sometimes I'm going to tag it also in stories. You know, if you follow me, just click the links or do the things. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, and you can always send me a DM. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you, and especially hearing some success stories. I'm rooting for you as always. Have a great rest of your weekend. If you have questions, I think I saw also said there's Q&A. If you have questions, shoot. Like, write them in the comment section. If I see a question in the next minute, I'm going to stay, but I also don't want to bore anybody. So give me your questions, any kind of question that you have for me about this, about the challenge, or honestly anything. Now I'm in talking mode. Now you can ask me questions if you want to. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for writing that. I really appreciate it. I'm like sitting here in my kitchen talking to nothingness. It feels like, so I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you can always DM me. Let me know if you need anything. If enough people tell me they need the same thing, I'm going to produce a new freebie or whatever it is, right? It really depends on the size and impact, but just feel free to reach out. Like, what's the worst case? That I don't have time to respond in the first 2 days? That can happen, but I will always respond at some point. So just do it. I'm thinking that I'm a pretty nice person. I don't know. Perhaps something to figure out. All right, I'm going to take a last sip of water. And I think then we're good. Oh, you're so cute. Thank you. Always good to see my friends here. Oh, man. All right. Well, with that, happy weekend, everybody.